everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for joining us for another wand making video. Before we get too deep into this, I just want to take the opportunity one more time to plug my new book that is now available on Amazon. If you want to check that out, The Wand Maker's Apprentice is just a cozy, very silly, hopefully very funny little fantasy that I've written. It's a full-size novel and just introduces kind of my own idea on wands and wand making and wand lore and stuff like that. So if something you're interested in, check out the link down below in the description, and you can pick that up on Amazon. So anyways, let's get into this. Today we are doing a very classic wand. I don't sell a ton of these. It's too bad. This is oak. Specifically, it's white oak. I do have a little bit of red oak that I do work with it sometimes. This one, the red oak is just, it's a little bit more, a little bit reddish in color, more so than this. But it's too bad that this isn't more popular. I would rate it just kind of a mid-range as far as being easy to work. It's got some open grain in it, but it is a fairly dense wood, even though it has that open grain. But I mean, oak is it's just classic. It's just a really classy just a versatile, well-known and well-used wood. It's got a very nice grain to it, and I don't mind working with it. I gotta say, it's not my favorite wood to work with, but it's certainly not my least favorite at all. But yeah, when you work this and if you do the right techniques and stuff on it, and you polish it up and stuff, it's got a really nice look to it. So anyways, so what I've done so far is I've just worked the blade of the wand it down and gotten that into the round. And then that allows me to put the chuck jaws on there and to get most of the wand up inside the chuck, so I've got less wood that's unsupported. If you watch some of my other videos, you've heard me talk about that before. Especially when I have an open grain wood, it's really important because you can get that chatter. Oak isn't particularly difficult with chattering and bouncing around in there like some of the woods that I've worked with. But it's something I always think about. So just try to minimize as much as possible. So yeah, we just kind of did some quick shaping on the grip here on the handle. And I decided for this wand, this is going to be one of the fancy style wands that I have on my Etsy shop. So we're going to do a little bit more to it than just the basic shaping on this. So once I get the general shape done, then I'm going to go in and start the sanding process. And I start with either a 180 or 220, just to kind of doing the final shaping and get it started. Take it up to about a 320 or so, and once I have that done, then I'll do my friction burn. But as you can see here, my wire burner broke, so I had to stop the video to go and make a new one, and no big deal, got a little extra scrap wire, and yeah, so we just made another friction burner here. So this is just a piece of steel wire that I'm using, and I'm using that to kind of delineate the lines there, just give it some nice accents. Now, this is the indexing wheel that I use, because like I said, since we're going to go a little farther on this wand, the reason these cost more is because I go in and do a little bit more to them than typical, and this is one of the things that helps me do that. So this is my indexing wheel that I designed and 3D printed myself. And what I'm doing now is making sure that I've got my rest adjusted so that the pencil is dead center on the center of the wood. And getting it centered it's not bad when you're on a flat surface, but when you're going on a curved surface, if you've got it too high or too low, when you put those guidelines in there, the line will curve if it's not centered on the axis. So anyway, so now that I've got my horizontal lines in there, I go in and I put my circumference lines, and that gives me a nice little grid that I can go in and put in these freehand the spiral design in it, as you can see there. And then we move into the wood burning. And this is just a pyrography tool that I have. I've got different wire tips that I can put in this and kind of adjust the heat and stuff. Another great thing about oak is it does burn really nicely, but it also ebonizes really well too. So I'm gonna make use of all of these different techniques on this. So we'll just kind of go in. I'm just kind of doing some nice little decorative burn areas and stuff in here, and I kind of wanted to go with the spirals. I counted out the number of spirals I had so that I can have 2 thick lines on there, and with the design work in them, I'm going to ebonize those as well to kind of give them a nice contrast to it. So once we get the wood burning and stuff done, we'll go in and do light sanding on that. We're kind of helping to take off some of the rough edges from the wood burning and the pencil lines and stuff, and then we'll part the base of the wand, or the pommel of the wand, off of the support here on that little tenon. And then we do some cleaning up on that, and we'll get our sanding and stuff done. But before we go too far in our sanding, we're going to get the base sanding and stuff done. But before we go too far on that, we need to get our ebonizing fluid. And this is just basically, this is iron acetate. You make this from white vinegar, distilled vinegar, and you soak like a quadruple aught steel wool in it so that it dissolves, and it makes iron acetate, and that's going to react with the tannins in the wood. And oak has a lot of tannin in it, so it works really nicely to kind of give a color variation. And this is just kind of it's a natural way to do some color changing, as opposed to, I don't like to use dye or stain or anything. And this preserves the natural look of the wood and the wood grain. I mean, I'm going to say something about this here. I mean, if you're going to, use specific woods, and I think I'm up to 32 or 34 different kinds of wood, if you're going to use a specific wood, then, you really want to preserve the natural look of that wood, and don't cover it up with a bunch of stain and paint and stuff like that. And all my techniques, that's what I try to do. And so this is what it looks like now with just the oil finish. This is just a natural linseed oil finish, and then we'll get some wax on it and polish it up, and we're going to let all that natural, really classic oak wood grain look kind of really show through there, and that's what you get here in the finished video. So this is a few days later. I've let the oil dry. I've got this all polished up with just a wood wax, and that preserves the natural look of the oak. And as you can see, I mean, just this classic rustic look of the oak wood, the oak grain and stuff in it, and it's just something I really like, so I hope you do as well. Anyways, we got some more videos coming up soon. I know I've got some ebony wood that I've already got some footage of that I'm going to be editing up soon, and I've got another Osage orange that I've done as well. That's a special edition that's coming up soon as well. So keep an eye out for those videos, and hopefully we'll get those up for you here in the next week or two. And until the next time, thanks for watching.